Hey everybody, Brian here from quantlabs.net. Today we are going to talk about what's been happening for the last 48 hours, May 2nd, 2017. First note from my Bloomberg, cannabis has gone up 130%, outperformed the Australian ASX 130%. So tip here, keep your eyes out for countries that liberalize or basically legalize pot, because in Canada I think was one of the first ones to do it, and their stock performance on the pot related stocks did really well. Another one here is, and they'll still continue, so I'm sure there's time to pile in. Not sure if the UK is going to do it or if the US are going to do it, but if they do, be on the lookout for that. Now the next chart is something that came out. Now, here's the GSP in this light blue right here, and we're looking at a 1-year chart. Now, the thing I wanted to show you is I have a lot of people that will only trade the S&P 500 or the US markets. The reason I'm showing you this is I want to show you that you're getting 5% more return, 6% return more, and even up to 12% more versus just trading on the S&P 500 or the US markets. The reason I'm showing you this is because we're all about trying to maximize our opportunities. Now, there's programs out there I've showed, probably in my book, called jstock.org. As a stock screener, you can use that tool to watch these markets and the individual stocks within them, just as a hint. So what are these markets? Well, first we have the S&P 500 here in the light blue. Here in the dark blue that's giving us top performance is the German DAX, and that's been doing really well, okay? And then we have the Taiwanese, which is really the Taiwanese with the semiconductor, and then lastly the Hang Seng as well, which has been doing relatively well as well. You can see even since the market has been literally on a tear just on the volume here, since 1 month after the US election, that everything started going crazy and everyone just started pouring money into the markets. But they were not only trading S&P 500, they were also trading these other exchanges as well, and you could just look for ETFs related around these. Now, there is an alert that I should put out that went out about ETFs. It may not be as wise as some have said in the last few days, just because of the volume that is going into them, and they may be something to not worry about, but be on the aware of about ETFs and how they're getting over leveraged and taking on too much debt as well, or companies with debt. So that's all fine and good. Now, so what I want you to remember is always look out for other exchanges. And as I said, the JStock tool you could use to your advantage that will watch the markets. You've got to get those books that I put out. And the tool here again is jstock.org. And that tool will really help you out. It's free, open source, so I would definitely download it, because you can watch over 29 markets. I think it's 35 actually. And on top of that, you can use that to track about, as I said, 35 exchanges or countries. So that tool will be very useful for getting out more performance out of these other countries versus the US. All right, so let's talk about oil, light sweet crude, WTI. This is one of the more popular futures. Today, again, May 2nd, you'll see here I've applied the 200-day moving average. This is what the Bloomberg article mentioned. As you can see here, it's just classic technical indicators. Let me see, that's on a 5-day. Let's see if we can do a better range here. Let's say going back beginning of the year. Let's see if we can capture this. And the answer looks like it's yes, but it's been on a steady decline. And you can see here in green, the SMA may not have been as useful. So let's go back to, not so far back, but we'll go back, let's say April 1st. Let's see if that can give it. So again, it doesn't look like we can get better data here, but let's go back to the 5-day. Okay, so if we were watching this on a weekly chart, we would get what could be a really good indicator. It went down again, and it breached it 3 times. And look what's happened. It just not collapsed, but it took a more significant dive of about a dollar. So we could have used this as early warnings, among other indicators for that. But it's just one of those examples to be on the lookout for, where the moving averages can be very useful. And again, here's it crossed, and look what happened. It just went down. All right, so that's a 200-day moving average. Is something to be on the lookout for. Now, the other funny thing is aluminum. Aluminum is considered a base metal for industrial. A large of the capacity of aluminum goes to China, about half, I believe. But when you look at the price of aluminum, it has not gone up. This is a really good indicator to use to see how China is doing. So we've got here the pure beta aluminum foil ETF, and we can use these just to watch it as one of our indicators. So let's say if we do a month. Now, the news went out that the supply of the aluminum in the LME, London Metal Exchange, is now in short supply. So that's why I'm showing you this. So who knows? But the price, let's see, a 5-day chart, 1-day chart. But let me just show you that news alert. So aluminum, short supply, LME, London Metal Exchange. Okay, so here's an alert. Aluminum price keeps rising. That came out November 16th. We want something a little more recent. Let's see here. Copper drifts lower on concerns about weak demand. Okay, so maybe I should take that back. Here we go. Yeah, so I was wrong. Helps to read these articles properly. So traders scramble for aluminum in a world saturated with supply. So that's what's exactly happened here, where the supply has ticked up. And obviously that's going to keep the world of aluminum on the rises of global supply. So that is a good way to watch the markets. See here in this spike here that it's gone up, borrowing fee. And then, of course, aluminum stored in unmonitored locations dwarfs LME. Aluminum financing deals harder to maintain. But the general headline here is that traders scramble in a world saturated with supply. So falling demand, too much supply. So who knows? This may collapse, this ETF. It's been fairly stable for, let's say, a year. Actually, it's been steadily climbing, but that could collapse. So keep your eyes out for that. All right, so, right here. I forgot to. So this is the London Stock Exchange, commodity securities. Now the question is if this is the supply or the price. I think this is just an aluminum company. ETF Combined Security. Yeah, so it's just a company. All right. I'm just gonna check my checklist here. Aluminum. So we talked about oil. Did we talk about oil? Yes, we did. Okay. Next one up that we want to talk about is Mexico peso. Now we've been watching this for a little while. Okay, here's the peso. It's been on a 3-month rise because I guess with Trump blurting out the wall business, it's slowed down, and the currency has strengthened because of that. Let's just check out a 1-month chart. Did spike up and it dropped back down. But the thing we want to, that is used as the benchmark, let's say a 3-month, 1850 was the breakthrough that they're trying to get. So let's say if we do a moving average of simple moving average, let's say that's a 3-month, say a 50-day. Okay, so let's do a 200. Maybe even 30-day. So there you go. It's the 1850s, the market where it's supposed to strengthen to or go up to. Let's see the 1 day. Actually, it's actually weakening. So again, just something to be on the lookout for. But it was forecast to go to 1850. All right. So hopefully there's some really juicy stuff in here to be on the lookout for. Don't forget about your JStock to download it. Found here at jstock.org. And hopefully this video will help you out. I'll have more to report back hopefully tonight.